Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, love, and blessings, and welcome to Catch a Vibe, Pulse's first and only music dedicated radio show. In it, we humanize the artist. We humanize the people that are really making an impact. I wanted to start the show to exactly do that. Actually today is episode number 55, so respect to all the musicians, all the songwriters, all the singers, all the music enthusiasts that made it through. Today is special in many ways. When we talk about music, we definitely have to talk poetry. For me, anyone who knows me know I'm a big fan of spoken word and just that vibe, that energy, how you're able to impact people with your words and also energy and flow. And today I got a really, really special human being, Namal Siddiqui, who is from Pakistan, and somebody who had a 10-year career in corporate marketing and advertising, but then obviously she took like some sort of a break, but then started working on poetry. She's been actually writing poetry since childhood, but I want to talk to her about so many things. So without further ado, we're gonna say Assalamu alaikum. Namal, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, Hassan. How are you doing? I'm well.
Blessings and peace. Thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. We're gonna start with the name. I heard that there's a story. Beautiful name, by the way, Namal Siddiqui. Tell me the story.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here.
Bless
Thank
you
you so much for having me. The story is that I was named Qurratul Ain. As a baby, right? So, but I was born with jaundice.
Okay.
I guess I immediately had it as soon as I was born, and so people in our culture will be like, oh, it's a name that's really heavy. It's affecting this little baby. She's so tiny, and my parents were like, right, we need to replace name.
Oh wow.
And so I was admitted in the hospital, and there was apparently a nurse whose name was Namal.
Okay.
And my father heard it, and he said, and this is, you don't usually hear Namal as a name.
Yeah.
But yeah, he heard it, he loved it, and he said, right, she's born on the 27th of December.
Okay.
And it's Surah Namal is, I believe, in the 12th chapter.
Oh wow.
He's like, right, there's a connection. Numbers. You were talking about numbers.
Bless him.
So he's like, right, Namal. This is it.
And your mom, what did she thought of that?
She was happy. They love it. But interestingly, Namal or Namal is, I found out years later, is a male Sri Lankan name.
Really?
So interesting.
Wow.
And it means something else. Flower.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Thank you so much for sharing that. But seriously, I want to thank you for your time for many reasons. Obviously, I'm a big fan of poetry, but before we dive into that, and I know you've been writing since you're a child, but this 10-year marketing and advertising, and you're laughing, but take me through, what was it that made you take that? Because I know you went mountaineering, what made you take that decision to take that break and then leave that life?
So I started work really young, and I've been working back to back, done lots of different things, moved between advertising and then to tech companies. So I kept moving back, and it was it's always a full-time job. You know how how people work, and I love doing that as well.
Okay.
I've always have had a drive, but somewhere around 2016, I remember I said, I need to do a bit more. What else? Do I just wake up, go to work, and that's it? Go to sleep, meet friends, live this life?
That happened in 2016 or so?
That was 2016,
okay.
And it was the most random decision. I was watching videos, and I came across someone who gave a lovely interview who had climbed a mountain, and I said, I'm going to do that. I've never climbed a mountain.
Wow.
I don't know why it was a mountain. That did it for me. It could have been anything else. But for some reason it was, and I just ended up making a trip to the mountain. I remember changing jobs, being confused about what I wanted to do at that point of time as well.
Oh, man.
My dad was like, the first thing he heard was, because nobody climbs, is super I guess is very outdoorsy, adventurous in our family. So he's
Okay.
like, so when I told him, he's like, who climbs mountains? Who does that?
God bless him.
But it was, there was no turning around. So
Yeah.
that was my mountaineering bit. But in terms of poetry, like I was saying, like you're saying, I've always written as a child. But
As a child,
Yeah.
what attracted you to this beautiful art form?
I love sharing this story. The first poem that I remember writing is about a chocolate that my parents got me.
Love.
I really asked, and I was like, please, can you give me this chocolate I love? And they got it, and I was so happy. And the only way I could express it was write it
Writing.
in a poem.
Amazing.
But as a child, I've always wanted to read. Between English and Urdu, my mother tongue.
Beautiful.
I've always been interested with language. So I think it was all of that. And my mom is a creative as well. She writes.
Bless her.
Also, she's a teacher.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think there was this huge influence of reading and writing at home.
Do you still have that first poem?
I don't. I actually don't. I wish I did.
Bless.
But it was like a 4-liner. Yeah.
But that's so cool. The fact that you're saying that. To kind of double down on that, this trip that you took, in what way did it open those creative doors for you?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a life-changing trip. And interestingly, the motto of the company that I went with is life-changing adventures or something. Again, I had not exerted that kind of a physical I'd not done anything so extreme previously. I went to the gym, I ran once in a while, but it was just something I'd never done. So once I was able to climb and make it after lots of crying and extremely confused and thinking, why did I leave the wonderful toilets of Dubai,
The stable. Yeah.
but once I made it to the top, I think there's something beautiful about the human body that you start realizing, and you learn that
You appreciate
there's
it.
so much more that we are capable of, and
Fact.
it's just that one simple thing.
Love that.
You get to the top. The fact that you made that effort and you made it with other people, however it was, I think having people around also helps.
Definitely.
They were all strangers, but we all became friends at the end.
That's insane.
I'm still friends with some of them. So
Does this trip still hold a big place in your heart when you look back?
it definitely does. Of all the places in the world, it was Russia.
Wow.
So the first mountain I went to was Russia.
Crazy.
And my dad's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a mountain." But yeah, I mean,
That's insane.
I just dived into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I truly love that. Obviously, that's incredible. You found your way to the Emirates Literature Foundation as well, where obviously you manage year-long cultural events and currently working on a poetry book, which is just definitely talk about. But I think for me, like, I kind of want to go back to that childhood and poetry. How do you think? You're born and raised in the UAE, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that love for poetry increase throughout?
Yeah.
Was there a process where you're always writing when you were from childhood?
Yeah, I've always been writing. Again,
Okay.
when you have in school, you've got those annual books, and
Yes.
then I'd be the first one to submit a poem or something written in English or Urdu. So that was that. I remember, so I think I'll just a backstory with language in particular. When I was a kid, I remember some girls in school bullying me about the English I was speaking. And I was like, oh my God, they're so mean. And I probably didn't say something right. My grammar was wrong. It's not my first language.
You wrote a diss record.
And no, but the thing is that it just became a challenge for me as a kid, I guess, which is why I started reading a lot more. Naturally, and I was telling you earlier, I would read a lot of newspapers, and I would act like I was a newscaster.
A newscaster.
Right? And I would just continue reading and reading. I think without realizing, I worked on my reading abilities my language abilities. And I remember like the teachers calling me like, Namal, you read, and then she would let me read the entire pages and the paragraphs. So
Wow.
that kind of like made me a lot more confident. And I think it's just naturally that way, the interest in writing first and then poetry. Because poetry is sort of like, again, if you're reading and writing a lot, you tend to think a lot. I think so. And I was always a thinker as a kid. So lonely little kid sitting in a corner somewhere.
Bless.
But I think poetry is that. Sort of, I always think that there's writing and then there's poetry, because you're sort of trying to bring the essence of things into small spaces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you guys, that's only the first segment, and she's already dropping jewels right here. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Namal Siddiqui, who is an incredible poet, human being, and like I said, preparing also a book, and somebody who found their passion, and I appreciate people like that a lot. We're going to be taking a short break, but I want to put you on the spot. Obviously, we're a radio station. We're going to play a song. Do you like music?
I love music.
Okay, so if I asked you to choose any record right now, what would it be? I know we were talking off air about something.
Yeah.
Pakistani folk, you were saying?
Yeah. So I've been listening to a lot of folk music recently.
Okay.
And I think so. There's a Coke Studio, which is sort of this fusion music that they make. So there's a song called Vah Vah Julare.
Vah Vah Julare.
Yeah. So
okay.
WAH.
Okay.
WAH. And then the third word is JHULARA.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know the meaning either, but it just sounds amazing.
Oh, we can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're about to play it on the radio right now on 95 FM. We're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible vibe. This is Catch a Vibe on Pulse 95 Radio. Do not go anywhere.
Catch a Vibe with Big Hass, only on Pulse 95. Pulse.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Pulse 95 Radio. We were just listening to this. I want to get your reaction. We got Namal Siddiqui, ladies and gentlemen. She is born and raised here in the UAE from Pakistan. Love the country of Pakistan. And I want to say thank you for introducing me to this record. Seriously.
You're welcome.
I love it. Does music play a big part in Namal's life?
Yes.
In what way?
I guess it's always there, more than watching movies or anything else. It's always music.
Love
that attracts me. So I'll probably know a lot of the movie songs, Bollywood movie songs too, but I never know the movie. Yeah.
No, I just want to say thank you, because I asked you to play a record and you chose to play a record from your own country and that shows me obviously you're passionate about where you come from. You love your culture, and that is respect, because you could have chosen any record in the world. So salute to that.
Thank you.
No, thank you for this. This is amazing. I love it. Going back to poetry, fam. Now. I love hip hop, and obviously rap is a part of hip hop, and rap is rhythm and poetry. And I always was interested in poetry. So I guess my question is here, and I'm sorry if I sound so ignorant. How did you become how does a person become a poet in terms of what does it take? Is it only obviously just the writing, or because obviously spoken word is also a different style of poetry flowing, if we can say.
Yeah.
So maybe let's talk a little bit about that, like the spoken word. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, you're right. I guess mostly I'm assuming, start off with writing.
Yes.
And, again, personal writing, diaries, whatnot, poems then. And I always did that. And I used to post on Instagram, before.
Okay.
I didn't think beyond that, but if you know Jamil Adas.
Of course.
Yeah, so Jamil.
Shout out to him. Shout out Jamil.
Yes, Jamil. He started the Poetry Hood.
Yeah, of course.
And what he did is amazing as well, because he truly opened the world of poetry in the UAE for me.
Fact.
Somehow he reached out and he said, hey, listen, we're doing this workshop for spoken word. And I said, I don't do that. He's like, just try it out, whatever. And I remember, so he asked, bring a piece of something you've written before.
Okay.
And
it was a workshop, not an event, like a workshop.
It was a workshop.
Okay.
I believe Farah Shama was there as well.
What?
Yeah.
Farah Shama, legendary right there. Yeah.
And we ended up doing this little workshop, and he, they asked, come and perform your poem.
Nice.
And I did it, and I remember Jimmy saying, "Yeah, it's perfect." I was like, "No, I don't." It's like, but then doing that workshop changed everything for me, and then he started doing these events.
If someone would ask you, what was it about that workshop that changed? Like, what did you benefit somehow from it?
I'm a firm believer in community. I think that's
Fact.
what I needed, and we're always. People write. Yeah, exactly. People write. They do lots of stuff. But that encouragement only comes when you have people around, and when you realize that there are other people doing similar stuff. Again, in the UAE, I don't think I had that space. I didn't know that people do a lot of literature or poetry.
Yeah.
But immediately we're 15 people in a room writing poems, and then, I think what changed was the fact that he asked people to come and perform it in front of each other, your personal work. This is something I'd never done before, even though it was just 15 people.
Crazy.
And that
was that nerve-wracking for you?
It was nerve-wracking, and then it was followed by an event that they did at One Life, I remember, and I performed the poem, and it was so interesting because I'm here excited, but also really nervous. But so this poem that I had performed was sarcastic, but serious, with dark humor. People were laughing. And I was like, oh, they actually enjoy.
That must felt good.
Yeah. So, and I had to, there's so much learning again over there. I was getting extremely excited, but I had to maintain that dark humor sort of stance.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, don't get excited. No, don't get excited. Everybody's enjoying it.
That's crazy.
But yeah.
That's so nice to hear. Obviously, there's there are amazing platform. You got also, people like the Blank Space, the Rooftop Rhythms. There's a lot of amazing platforms that, of course, giving you guys, the poets. But one thing for me, so I'm from Saudi Arabia, and from the Arab region, we really respect our poets, and it's a big poetic culture that we have, obviously. But when someone says poetry to you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Good. I've been trying all interview, fam.
You said one word, and to me at this point of time, and I think it changes.
Okay.
Right now, I think it's life for me.
Facts. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think it is one specific word or definition. It keeps evolving. Sometimes I feel close to my poetry. Sometimes I'm not writing anything at all. So it's a.
If someone would ask you, and before we hear like a piece that you wrote, okay, incredible so far. I like this human. I really am. It's you're getting me more attached to or attracted to poetry. But what do you write about? Like because as a singer or a songwriter or whatever it is that you write, people hear it. Okay. As a poet, what are the topics you kind of, indulge in?
Yeah. So I started writing a lot about sort of daily life stuff.
Daily life?
Yeah. So
nice.
I'm in an elevator, and that's a poem that I did with Jamil. I'm in an elevator. I remember I used to work on the 52nd floor, and it used to take 15 minutes.
Floor.
Yeah. Every time, each time.
In Dubai.
Yes. And it's a Business Central Towers.
Oh, wow.
In Media City.
It takes you 15 minutes to get up there.
So I had so much time to watch and observe and think and write. And a poem came out of that. So it's those kind of things. So traffic, we were talking about that. So I used to drive from Media City to Ajman at some point in my life. And I used to be stuck in traffic. So literally traffic. So there's a poem titled Traffic Jams.
Traffic
Jams.
So
I would write about these things.
Nice.
That evolved into, and I still write about it. Still feel strongly about it. Identity. Someone who's born and raised here, but you've got another
third culture
country.
Kid.
Yeah, exactly. This third culture situation, and I traveled to Pakistan to actually sort of make peace with that, or sort of understand. My passport country a little bit more.
Wow.
So
did you write about that?
I had been writing about that before as well. Yeah.
Yo, I'll
So,
buy
yeah.
that book right now if it's all about that. That's amazing.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so obviously cultural identity, daily life. What else?
And I mean, I'm a lover of nature and wilderness. I'm in the
Amazing.
mountains, and I think there's just, it's. I was on the mountain, and I thought that this is divine, right? Like you feel
Facts.
this is me praying, even
Yeah.
just being there. Again, you see stars in the desert, and that's one thing. But when you see the Milky Way from like 4,000, 5,000 meters in
mean,
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. You're just talking about it right now. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. This is incredible. Okay. Okay. Can we hear something from you? Something
Yes.
that you've written? And obviously, I got to say that you're, preparing this. Obviously, you're working on a poetry book, which I can't wait to talk more about if we can get some details later on. But it's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Namal Siddiqui, who's writes about identity, writes about the third culture kid, the daily life, nature. Man, it's incredible. Okay, so what is this piece that you're about to hear?
All right.
Cool.
So this is a poem I wrote last year, and
okay.
last year. We're in 2024 now.
Yeah.
So right, and I was doing my master's actually.
Okay.
And our one of the ask was play with words, and
Play with words.
Yeah, play with words, and I was like, right. So words, I love words, and I know words in English, Urdu, Arabic.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
I
amazing.
came up with this poem. It's called The Emotion of Words.
The emotion of words.
So wait, yeah. All right.
What? I love it. The emotion of words, ladies and gentlemen. And the air is yours. I can't wait to hear this.
All right.
Take it away.
The English speak through clenched teeth. Everything they say is understated, always concise and always concrete. It's pissed, it's bloody, it's rubbish, or mostly it's all just lovely. Whereas when I speak in all these varying inflections. There's always drama in my speech, like the Arabs of the Middle East. I let the words truly leave like kharij. Out of my mouth, loud and proud, never accepting defeat. Instead, I make passionate promises like, Wallahi, Habibi, Wallahi. And if you still don't get it, I will tell you what a zift you can be. And when you do get it, a cheery shukran if I am, after all, pleased.
Wow.
Or if I am feeling a little poetic, I may try to find the ta'bir of my dreams. Urdu really does make you believe in ishq, muhabbat, junoon. I may express the shiddat of what I feel, but if we are all that mukhtalif, I'll understand and keep some lihaz. I may seek your nawazish and make a qasm that this I won't repeat.
What?
Or sometimes I talk things out like the Americans, right? It's easier to talk it out, right? Like it works out for me, if you know what I mean. But I don't talk things out like the English. But when I am really trying to make a point, I switch to this colonial times Desi English accent, just like how my mom's aunts speak, an upmarket, decorous command received in convent school education that has lasted through thick or thin in a proud-to-be Muslim country. So now we have constant reminders of colonialism and all the complexes it's managed to breed, with all its cordial greetings and good wishes of the many races, creeds and religions that inhabit the vast subcontinent of Asia. There are two major nations where one cannot be characterized as a minority. And now, between all these words and their feelings, the simplicity of their accents, the complexity of their implication, here I am, broken to so many pieces, lingering where the past and future meet, yet the English still speak with clenched teeth.
What? Wait. For the second time on Catch Your Vibe, I'm going to stand up. Woo! This was amazing. If I'm listening to this live in a place, I'm gonna go all crazy. No, wow. How long? Like, when did you write this? Is it 2 years ago?
Yeah, in 2021, 22, when I was doing my master's. Yeah.
You know, I seriously, it's called The Emotion of Words.
Yeah.
I felt every single word.
Amazing.
I felt every single word with emotions. Oh my God. No way. Another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just heard that, this is some sort of you gotta buy that book when it's out. I'm telling you, some sort of a reminder how beautiful language is generally. What you did right there was so beautiful. Addressing obviously a little bit of obviously English. You lived here, the Urdu, Arabic. Wow, I have a lot of questions, but we're gonna take a small break. I'm gonna put you on the spot again since you love music, and I'm gonna actually make you the radio host right now and ask you what song you're going to play. It could be anything. What record do you have in mind?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Oh.
Silence. Yeah, you can look through the phone.
I should.
Yeah, you can do it.
I know the song,
Okay.
but I don't know. I can't remember his name, the band's name.
Okay, cool.
So let me quickly.
As long as it's clean, and radio friendly.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
totally. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be listening to "It Means Nothing" by Stereophonics.
No way. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's one of my all-time favorites. I just remembered it.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, she's going to take my job. We're going to be right back. We are with the incredible Namal Siddiqui, who is a poet based here, born and raised in the UAE. She's a spoken word poet, and she's just incredible. We are just really scratching the surface. We just heard this amazing, amazing poem for her. We're going to be right back. Keep it locked. It's Catch a Vibe on Pulse 95.
Catch a Vibe with Big Hass, only on Pulse 95.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, to Catch a Vibe, episode number 55. Obviously on Catch a Vibe, we're the first music dedicated radio show on Pulse 95 Radio, but in it we also interview and chat with a lot of creatives, writers. In this case, we have this amazing human being that I am just becoming more of a fan of. The amazing Namal Siddiqui, who is just, for me, I want to say thank you again for making me love poetry even more, appreciate it even more. Thank you for your words. I guess before I even speak about the poetry scene right here, how does words come to you? Like, I know that for a fact. For example, my one and only, my wife, sometimes she tells me she likes to write. Sometimes she tells me like she sees words. I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. How does that? Do you also see words?
Oh, I love that.
How do you tell me more about that?
First of all, thank you for saying that.
Man.
My ultimate
Thank you.
goal in life is for someone to want to write a poem or read more, and just so I love that.
Yeah, you definitely made me in that corner, fam. Seriously, I'm seriously. We're doing this chat right now, but I'm seriously, my heart is so filled just by hearing that, by your energy, by your vibe. And I'm going to say this. There's an old Bedouin saying that says, الإنسان الذي لا أثر له لا حياة له, meaning a human being with no impact has no life. And I think you somehow are going to impact, even one person. No, seriously, this is the... Anyway, sorry, I'm taking from you. But how do words come to you, and do you see words?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. I suppose I do see words.
Wow.
I love that. It's usually it's not the sentence. It's not what someone's saying. It's a particular word that'll just stick there, and I always end up writing it. And then, years later, sometimes it becomes a poem. So it's words, definitely. And, I don't know what it was, if it was some kind of OCD or me just trying to get over some kind of trauma from childhood. But I used to play with words in my mind.
In hip hop we call that freestyling.
This was me basically getting extremely fixated at a word and just sort of trying to carve it out in my head, in my mind, with my finger. It was really weird. So
wow.
And I would write those things down.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, God, I sound crazy.
No. No, that's so cool, actually.
So
I think that's a talent. Like, I really think that if you're listening to this, you guys, I think that is a talent. Not everyone is like that. I can't do that.
So it was, I don't know what it was. It was, someone would say something, the word would just like sort of resonate, and whether I know the meaning or not, it just sounded interesting.
That's crazy.
And I would write it
Do you
down.
have a favorite word?
Oh, come on.
It's like,
No,
what's
I
your
can't.
favorite word?
That's just unfair.
That's like
no.
all the other words right now are telling you, hey,
I know.
me.
No, no.
Oh man, yeah, it's tough, right?
I do have a word, circumambulate.
What? Yo, what is that? Wait, I'm putting the music down a little bit because right now you got me something else. Tell me again.
Circumambulate.
How many syllables is that? What?
Circumambulate. No, I'm doing something wrong.
Which means what?
Going around in circles.
Oh, now that's what we're doing right now. Okay. That's so cool. Wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Poetry scene in the UAE. How is it like? Like, I know I've come across some amazing, incredible spoken word poets and human beings that are amazing that impacted me from watching an event or I'm at an event. How would you describe it from your experience?
I mean, like I said earlier, I got introduced to this world of poetry. I didn't know it existed. I used to just post stuff on Instagram, and then suddenly I'm at this workshop and then an event, and I'm like, wow, right, there's like audience, there are people listening, and they're enjoying this, And from there, it kind of like grew bigger for me. I made friends. I made poet friends and different groups, Blank Space. I remember Zaina Beck used to
Zaina, Zaina Hashim Beck, correct.
Run a group as well. So I think it's in the UAE, it's definitely this community. I think it's still niche.
Yes.
Even to like, I left the UAE for a couple of years and I came back, and definitely there's a lot more happening now. And what I realize is, and even through my work, I see that there are people who are really, really hungry for this kind of content. They want to be there at these events, and you'll start seeing the same people again and again.
Correct.
But then if you've been watching something, if you've been attending these events for the last couple of years, you'll see that the community has been growing.
It is.
So I think that's a really good sign.
That is.
And I
love that you said that. I mean, the UAE consists of like 190 plus nationality or so. And I think the diversity of this place is what's going to make the poetry scene so cool, because you have people from, Pakistan, India, and then Philippines, and then obviously the Arab, and then, and Europe, America.
Yeah.
It's all over. And I think this is what makes it really unique. If someone asks you like, hey, what does it take to be a poet, to make it as a poet? What does that mean? Because I think for me, it's always interesting as a singer or an artist, if your song makes it on this playlist or whatever. As a poet, is this enough? The snapping, like, how do you make it as a poet? How do you know you were successful?
Personally, by the way, and people will hate me for, poets will hate me for this.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of snapping.
The snapping. Okay, let's talk about that. I've been snapping all day. No, perfect. So let's talk about that. Obviously, when I snap, ladies and gentlemen, like this, we've been told if you like something, you snap, so you don't interrupt the poet, some sort of mind.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me more about why do you...
For me, when I'm listening to something, and if I'm listening, if it's interesting enough for me to be listening intently, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm not snapping, but I think it is important as well to encourage people. Because yes, this is a sign of, right, like I enjoyed this. That was a great point. Oh, that makes so much sense. I love that rhyme.
Exactly.
And I think it's really encouraging because, especially for people who are new to the scene, it's a huge give and take for them.
100%. And I love that you said that, because for me, it's more like I want to say, like you said, a word. I love that word. I don't want to say I love that word. So you're like,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I know, but I get what you mean. But when people do snap, like what is the first thing that goes into your mind as Namal?
I don't mind it.
Okay,
I don't mind it at all. But it's just, when I'm listening, and I don't want to, I always wonder. I'm like, I hope I'm not coming off rude, but
No.
I don't end up snapping always. You may know Danabel Gutierrez.
Yes.
When we do events or something together, I remember she's always the one pointing out, like, you didn't talk about the snap. I'm like, oh, right, okay.
Correct.
So yeah.
No, I love that. Will it be too much to ask if I can hear one more poem?
Yeah, no, it's not too much to ask.
You sure?
We're here for poems.
Okay, poetry.
Right.
What is this?
So this is a ghazal.
Ghazal?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, ghazals originally come from Arabic.
Yeah.
And then Farsi and Urdu took that form in.
Correct.
And we have beautiful ghazals in Urdu that I love and adore. Maybe the next song could be a ghazal.
Sweet. I love that. I love the sound of that. Okay.
But I wrote a ghazal then in English. My Urdu, I'm working on that, being able to write ghazals in Urdu. But this is a ghazal in English.
Oh.
And
No
I think it was
way.
a great experience writing that. Again, it's called The Grand Touch. So I'm just going to get into it.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah. Lipstick-stained mugs of coffee demand touch. Fingers quivering for a friend's grand touch. We sit 6 meters apart in cafes, in empty living rooms, since disease became reason for the band touch. 2 years and vaccinations passed. They try to normalize, but the common people now cannot stand touch. Zuckerberg loves this. Look at my metaverse. Be part of a community with our planned touch.
Oh, wow.
People are people who need people. All they need is to expand touch. Already shy about our bodies, now we dare look. Love, this body is native land. Touch. Come out of your hiding and laugh with me. We can be friends. Here is my hand touch. The universe, Namal, shall be doomed if our bodies forget to know what it's like. The grand touch.
Wow. I think you made a big fan of me today. Like I'm what? No, this was amazing. When was this written?
Also during my master's.
This is insane, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we're like witnessing, I don't know, incredible moment right here. Wow. I love it.
Can I say something? Add something?
Please.
Because I keep saying so. A lot of these poems both of these poems were written during my master's,
Yes.
and I keep asking me about the if we're talking about poetry, I think it's so all of these years I didn't have any sort of formal training with poetry. It was just me, reading stuff, reading different poems, and reading the classics that we did in school, and then just writing. Again, spoken word, freehand, whatever. But so to formalize that, for me, doing a master's was simply to understand, what my capabilities are, and I think
you did a master's
in creative writing.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the last 2 years that I took a break. The past few years, and I just want to say the point of me saying this is obviously there's self-study and you read and but just being in this environment where we were exploring so many different forms of writing, and again being surrounded around with that community, again with those people who were here for the same purpose. I think that kind of stuff really encourages as well. So a lot of people they shy away from formalizing poetry.
Yes.
And so again, there is no right or wrong way of doing things, but I think it's if you feel the urge, go ahead, take up classes, courses, meet with people, whether it's a formal sort of environment or not.
Might be a tough question, so if you don't want to answer it, I really respect that. But if someone would ask you, okay, you were able to have the luxury to take off to learn that. How does that play in your mind? Because some people maybe they want to write, they want to take that, but they're not able to because life gave them a different deck of cards, let's say.
Yeah. You know what I did wasn't like my family was like, wow, she's lost it. And
Bless them.
honestly, I had no
I
idea.
love your family already. Like, shout out to you guys.
I know they're amazing. But it is for what I had to do that. It was
Okay.
risky business. But I think I've been lucky, honestly, finding my way around. But there are so many ways of doing this. Like for me, building up on my poetry while I didn't have the luxury of taking time off and going and just, doing whatever, was I kept it consistent. I made sure I stayed in touch with that community. So
Okay.
being introduced to Poetry, for example, I was working full time, but on the weekends, I dedicated poetry time. It was, nothing could come, either whatever, Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
You're
it was.
passionate about it.
Yeah, so I made sure I met with those kind of people. I was surrounded by those people, and that's also an education.
course.
You're learning, you're listening, and I think listening to different people, especially in the UAE, where you've got the blank space, where you see certain kind of poetry, or you see all. They're really, I love them. They're very feisty.
Correct.
At blank space.
Correct.
And I used to get so intimidated. I was like, I don't know if I should be like performing
That is correct.
here.
Yeah.
So, but listening to different kinds of people from different parts of the world, sharing their poems, whether in their languages or this beautiful fusion that you find in the UAE, it really helps. And I think that's the first kind of education you want before anything.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Man, I can't believe it. We're just about to end our third segment, on to our fourth. Wow. I love it. A lot of things still to discuss, but I'm going to ask you to choose one more record for me, because you're taking care of the music right now. So as she's checking that out, 4215 if you want to text us at Pulse 95 Radio. And if you're just tuning in, I'm with Namal Siddiqui, who is an incredible poet, human being, born and raised in the UAE, from the lovely country of Pakistan. And I'm a big fan. That's all I can say right now. But if we're gonna play a song right now,
I can't do a ghazal example, but I'm gonna go back to Coke Studio.
okay.
It's a Pashto song.
Oh, nice.
So again, most of it I don't understand because I don't
Okay.
speak Pashto. It's called Ya Qurban.
Ya Qurban.
Again, just the kind of music. I'm sure you'll love the music.
I'm about to check it out.
So yeah, Ya Qurban, which is YA space QURBAN.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're about to play that right here on the radio, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a good time. If you like the music, it's all up to that lady over here, the sister, Namal Siddiqui, who you definitely can follow on Instagram. We're going to be right back. It is Catch a Vibe with me, Big House, right here on Pulse 95 Radio.
Catch a Vibe with Big Hass, only on Pulse 95.
And you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. Catch a Vibe with me, Big House, airs every Saturday and Sunday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Episode number 5 today is with this incredible human being, Namal Siddiqui, who for the past kind of 30-40 minutes, we got acquainted to in a way. She made me personally love poetry even more. Thank you so much for your time. Really, truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Towards the end, I think I really want to ask you what is the ultimate dream? I know that you're working on a poetry book, which is amazing. I think let's start there. How is that going, and when can we hear and see that poetry book?
Yeah, I'm hoping that 2024 is the year that I'll put. Not hoping, for sure.
Really?
Is when I will. Yeah. So I've got some. I've got tons of poems. I think it's just this matter of.
Kind of putting them in one place?
Yeah, just one place. It's there. I just really need to send it across
and
make it happen.
How does somebody work on a poetry book? Like, does it have a name? Like, would be like a name, or like how does that? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. God, I've got a name in mind. I don't know if I should say it, but
Okay,
no, I won't.
Don't feel pressured. Yeah.
I was thinking. So I had these different poems from various experiences, especially in the last few years when I traveled around, and I thought about it. It didn't. It didn't come from a poem. It's just yeah.
Can I ask, like, how many poems does the book have? Like,
it's.
Or is it like 20, 30 poems? 15?
It's 20, 30 poems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, my dilemma at the moment is categorizing it.
Oh, nice.
Because either
cultural.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Exactly, cultural, lifestyle, or country. Because then there are some poems that
cool.
written within while sitting in a country. So yeah.
Are you still writing, or you're done?
The book itself?
Like can more poems make it?
Yeah, they can.
Oh, nice.
But that's the thing, because I think it's just a matter of me getting it out across, and I'm just being too picky about stuff now. So I think it's a matter of just
I like that.
Get it out.
Okay. Can we talk about family? Because for the past, like I said, 30, 40 minutes, we're talking and how your family obviously picked up the name and obviously watched you grow in that space and the whole mountain story and what does family mean to you?
Oh my God.
And how supportive are they of your poetry adventure?
Yeah, no, I love my family, as we all do. I'd like to think, but yeah, they've been amazing. I think just I, in some ways I have been a little rebellious child.
Nice.
But they've been just awesome. My parents are.
Do they love the poetry?
They love it.
Okay.
Do
they have a favorite?
Oh, I don't think they have a favorite.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never asked them actually that question. But what I love is that sometimes they don't get the point of the poem either. You know what I mean? So, but they've always been there, and I think that's important.
Was it tough for them to understand that you left this 10-year marketing, very stable kind of job for you to go mountaineering and then obviously get into whatever you're into right now, and obviously life will still evolve for you, and there's more things that will come. Was that tough for them to get? I think over the past, in the last 10, 15 years, I guess as they've watched me grow, they've understood the kind of person I've become. And the moment I decided, it was funny because I said, oh, by the way, I'm quitting, and I just I want to leave this behind, and I want to focus on
move. Like I want to leave the country, a country that I was born and raised in, and I've never sort of lived anywhere else. Actually, I've always lived in the UAE. So that moment, they were like, okay, we understand.
Really?
And I was like, whoa, I thought this was I was preparing for it.
Yeah, like a fight.
Because in a traditional sort of Pakistani household, it's you've got to have an explanation, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So why would you?
I mean, we're so close. Arab, the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're quitting your job, what are you going to do next?
Why?
Why? What next? What if? So many questions. But I think they were patient. They've always been patient, which is the most amazing thing. I think, again, family always
love that. Does family make it in your poetry?
Oh yeah, so many times.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so many times.
That's cool. Do you shock yourself sometimes? Like what you came up with a bar, or oh my God, that's it. Does that happen to Namal?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'd be like, oh, that was good.
I snap myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many times also it's sort of, you're in the moment, you think of something and then it slips away.
Can I ask you a question? So obviously you said that you started obviously when you met the guys from poetry with Jameel and stuff. How is it live performance for you? Do you get till now? How does that experience for you, and how difficult or easy, or the evolution of you performing live? Because it's not easy. It's not something that people should think it's easy or whatever. Like I do this for a living in terms of getting on the mic and emceeing, but. I get I get sometimes nervous, but how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to be nervous, I think, and it's a good thing in a way because you don't. I think you're also anticipating what the audience is going to be like. I think for me, it's previously was the fact that it's personal, and I was afraid to be vulnerable. I think over the years that's evolved.
Nice.
And now I'm like, right, so as long as it's personal, people will make fun of me. At least I'm not representing anything else. So I think that's the shift for me at this point.
That's amazing. How do you? Wow, that's beautiful.
Self-deprecation.
What was the hardest poem to perform, if there's any? Is there something called a hard poem to perform? Something that is so meaningful to you. I guess all poems are, but was there a difficult poem for you to perform, or no? Not yet.
Oh my God, I have to think about this. So usually what I do is when they're hard poems, there's a lot of things that I write that never come out
no public.
To public.
Okay.
I actually performed a super hard poem at blank space.
Nice.
I don't know if I can actually say those things.
Okay.
Can I do the cough thing and then ask you?
Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think I shouldn't.
It was a tough poem.
It was a tough poem,
Okay.
but it was for me at that point. I think I was trying to face myself.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
decided I'd never performed that poem again. But I went out. I remember it was at blank space, and
Bless. And you did it that one time.
I did it that one time, and it was just something. I had one of our poet friends, Alicia Knowles, was sitting over there.
Shout
and
out to yeah.
she just sort of came back and said that was amazing. And when you're again, people just come back and they relate with it.
The sense of community, I think, for you
Yes.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I would love to hear one more poem from you. And can we expect a date in 2024 for this poetry book, or there's no date?
There's no date, but I think I should.
Give me a month.
I should put a date down.
Yeah, let's do it right now.
September.
September.
Yes.
Khalas.
That's it.
Done.
Yeah.
September.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can expect September, the poetry book from the incredible Namal Siddiqui. What can we hear right now?
Okay, so this is a piece I wrote recently, and I think it was. I don't usually explain my poems, but I'm gonna just take a couple of minutes for this one. Not a couple of minutes, but it's too long. But yeah, it was to do with sort of the state of the world that we are in.
Sure.
From so many perspectives, whether it's climate, whether it's the
injustices there.
Injustices in the world. So yeah.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah, and it sort of emerged from a star that I saw, a single star in the sky.
Really?
So that's where it came from. Okay.
Take it away. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Namal Siddiqui. Take it away.
A singular spark, a lone light, rises distinctly in an otherwise clean blue sky. The ocean underneath throws waves at the shore as if in conversation with a celestial counterpart. Each time, the ocean unravels itself into long, undulating waves, lulling those paying attention to sweet summer stupor. The sky, the ocean, are different and the same, both vast, both uncertain, both unpredictable, both cerulean, both separate. Sometimes the ocean charges inland with a possible intention of breaking a storm, an act of defiance, of defense, a roar in the waves, an uprising from the depths of the earth's core. Amidst this aging, muddled horizon of balmy blue, the sun is a faint, dying light.
Wow.
When we look at the sun, we're looking at light years. Somewhere the past has already arrived. It is us. We are running late. But the sky is a figment of our imagination, a name we've given to where our eyes can see till. Listen, you are looking at space, gazing perhaps at the heavens, at nothing, the aftermath of an apocalypse, the aftermath of an apocalypse, or one looming in our sphere, about to happen.
What? I'm still there. What? This should be... Wow. You should give this to NASA somehow. Every astronaut should hear this. This is incredible.
Sorry, I spoiled the ending. I was like, a apocalypse.
I loved it. I don't know what to say. I want to say thank you for your time. And I want to give you a chance, if there's anything that you'd like to say at the end towards, family, towards people who are listening, towards your friends. Any last words, Namal Siddiqui, please go ahead.
Oh my God, you've put me again on the spot.
Yep.
But no, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really, truly enjoyed this conversation.
We're going to have you again.
Oh my God.
For sure.
Thank you so much. I've truly enjoyed my time chatting with you today.
Bless you.
Thank you for being such an amazing host. I don't know. I think for me,
Go buy that poetry book, that's for sure. I'm telling you right now.
September, guys. So we're manifesting this September.
September, khalas?
Yes, it has to be September.
September.
But I'm just gonna say with poetry, I think I'd love for people to come and listen to more poetry.
Yes.
Read more poetry. I think it is so important because, like I was saying earlier, poetry really encapsulates the essence of what we feel as humans, and that's how we connect with each other. I love to say it's a shared language, whatever language it is, but we somehow share the language of poetry, and I think there's kindness in there.
Facts. Are
So, yeah.
you performing anytime soon?
I'm not.
Okay.
No, nothing that I've thought of at the moment.
All I can say is God bless you, God protect you. This is beautiful to see. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Namal Siddiqui, you can follow her on Instagram. Can you give them your Instagram real quickly?
It's at Namal Siddiqui. So NamalSiddiqui.
Amazing. And definitely go follow her and give her support because she's truly remarkable. And just meeting her today kind of instilled my love to poetry. And I'm inspired. Like today, I'm going to get out of here and just say I'm truly inspired. Beautiful in every single way. Thank you so much. Last song, Namal. What would you give me?
My God. Oh my God. I should have thought about it.
We obviously we're ending this interview. And Namal so far has been giving me some amazing songs.
You know what? I'm going to give you.
Okay.
It's from The Lion King.
Oh, which one?
In the jungle.
I love that record.
mighty
Yeah, we love that record
Yeah.
right here. I sing this record as well on live
Yes,
sometimes.
it's just one of my favorite songs.
We love
I
it.
play it on the mountain when I am.
Amazing. We love
Yeah.
it. Namal, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Really appreciate it. Peace and love. Have a good evening, you guys. We're leaving you. Is the record called In the Jungle?
And oh God, I have to look for it.
We'll leave you with that
Mighty
record.
jungle.
We'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
And please, if there's one thing that you could be inspired from today is just start, like write. This is what Namal has inspired me. Just write and just be able to express yourself in the way because you'll be able to find a community. If there's no community, the community will be created for you. I think if you're able to do so, you'll be able to find this passion within you. It's such a beautiful blessings. Peace and blessed night, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Namal, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Peace and love. Set up.